Reborn after death. Outside the remote suburbs, a bus is driving on the highway. There are old and young in the car. This car is a travel bus to Hangzhou. Jingjing led the group for the first time and couldn't suppress the excitement. After explaining the content of the scenic spot to the tourists, Jingjing, who finally had time to rest, suddenly slumped on the chair. A bottle of mineral water was handed over behind the chair. A young man, about the same age as Jingjing, also 24 years old, looking like a mixed-race child. Jingjing took the water gratefully, so nervous that she didn't know where to look. "Is this your first time doing this job?" Faced with the question of her brain, Jingjing didn't answer, just nodded embarrassedly, and then raised her head to look at him. Thinking about how he knew that it was the first time he did this job, the man seemed to see what he was thinking, and pointed to the manuscript she held in her hand. Jingjing suddenly realized, "Your observation is very careful." Before the words fell, the whole car lost its balance, rushed off the road, rolled several laps before stopping, and the whole carriage suddenly screamed and cried, and many passing vehicles turned off and ran down to help. Jingjing got up from the ground, looking at the body that was mutilated by rolling not far from her in horror. Except for the 2 cuts in her clothes, there was nothing big to worry about. But the other people in the car were not so lucky. The corpses carried out by the owner of the car who came kindly were bloody one by one, and the head of a tourist was directly separated from the body. You can imagine how big the impact force was just now. Jingjing, who had just worked, knew how to deal with this kind of thing, and hurriedly got into a certain bus parked on the side, trembling with fear. The bag fell in the bus where the accident occurred. The mobile phone and wallet were put in the bag. I couldn't think of what to do for a while. Jingjing's head was blank and was taken back to the city by the bus. And when I got off the bus at the station, Jingjing was embarrassed to apologize to the driver. But the driver didn't seem to care. Back at home, Jingjing made herself a cup of tea to suppress her shock. Why did today's tea have no taste at all? Smelled it, and still had no taste. I dialed my friend and colleague Lily's phone. And I was, in a busy voice all the time. Jingjing hung up the phone angrily, thinking that Lily was still angry about the last time she fought for the bag. They were all embarrassed about this. They didn't talk for more than a week, and they didn't think that they were still not answering their phone calls about this matter. Jingjing angrily walked to the side of the bed and lay down, thinking that tomorrow would be a big deal, and it would be a big fight to have a big fight, and it would be really difficult to have no one to talk to. When I arrived at the company, it was already noon, and almost all of the company went to lunch. But Jingjing had no appetite at all, and I wanted to gag when I thought of lunch. Jingjing walked to her workbench, and when she saw that all her things had been replaced, and the fire was up, what did she mean? She just went to bring the group back, and that's it. And she changed everything without knowing it, without even the most basic respect. After lunch, colleagues all went back to the company, and saw that Jingjing's desk was in a mess. Everyone's face was surprised, and there was a complicated expression. But everyone's reaction was to comfort the owner, who scattered those things all over the ground. "It's okay, just let Mr. Wu change a new desk for you." Jingjing recognized that the woman was another tour guide who came in at the same time as herself. Jingjing was too lazy to see her pretending to be tricks, pretending to be pitiful in front of others. And her attitude towards the cleaning art in private was outrageous. Jingjing sat aside and didn't bother to look at it anymore. And at a glance she saw Lily's figure printing next to the printer. Running to the side, Her eyes were swollen as if she had just cried. Jingjing questioned her, but Lily didn't seem to take a step back, and continued to answer as if nothing happened. Without wanting to explain further, Jingjing on the side stomped her feet angrily. "Don't you just bag? What's the big deal? I'll give it to you, I'll give it to you." Lily left with the photocopied documents, completely treating Jingjing on the side as transparent. No matter how she shouted or made trouble, she just didn't see it. "Don't go, don't ignore my Ed." Thinking back to yesterday's thrilling moment, Jingjing still feels that the whole world is so dark that she is the only one left. Her parents abandoned her since she was a child. How she came to be in her childhood, whether she lived well or not, no one cared. The only grandmother who cares about herself also left her 3 years ago because of her death. And then her relatives were pushed around like a football. And it was simply mental torture for her in the 1 year she was taken in by her aunt. And finally she ran out to find a job, which ended such a torturous process. "Don't cry, let's go to a place where there is no sadness, only joy." It was the boy who handed him water in the bus that day. "Why are you here?" Jingjing was on guard with him. How could he be okay when she saw the car smashed and shattered that day? "I can go wherever I want? Let's go, this place is no longer suitable for our lives." "What do you mean by being unfit for life? And what do you mean by being unfit for life?" Subconsciously, Jingjing realized the meaning of this sentence, and she struggled to break away from his hands. Lily, who ran to the office, pounced, and her hand passed through Lily's body like a transparent one. "No, it's not true, I don't believe it, I don't believe it." The scene suddenly turned into a morgue. The scene was full of cries, and Jingjing saw many people standing beside each hospital bed, covered with corpses under the white cloth. And corpses dyed red with white cloth. The young man walked up to Jingjing again and said, "People will always die, sometimes it's not what we want, let's go." "Wait, go." Alas. What else do you have to be nostalgic for this world? Your parents abandoned you. You are the only one, and you still want to live? The man's mouth was so puzzled, but his eyes showed pity. "But I want to live on my own, to live for myself." He took Jingjing to the ward. The mixed-race man on the hospital bed had his eyes closed. His handsome face was slightly flushed. It was the body of the man beside him. And a few couples in white coats came in from outside the room. And the husband and wife who were guarding the mixed-race man immediately asked about the situation of the brain. Zhao Gongxi Fu has a great life, and he has passed the dangerous period. You have to let him rest more." Everyone left the room so that they could have a better rest. The sun warmly shone into the ward, and the man on the bed had woken up. And he looked at his body a little overwhelmed, right? His current identity is Zhao Wen. And he looked into the distance and waved. "Thank you, Zhao Wen. She will live well with the body he has given."
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and put notification on to watch more videos. If you have similar experience, please comment and let me know your experience.